You heard from Chinhua and Christina earlier that there is a couple of mega trends that Keppel base our future business on. One of them is absolutely digitalization or the new digital economy. But underneath that big word digitalization and the big economy that we are looking at, there are a couple of mega trends as well that we are looking at. The growth in the data center business over the last 10 years has actually been sustained by the growth in the cloud businesses. So it has been growing at beyond, above 20% for the many years. And that trend continue. And you see the growth of the giants like Amazon Web Services coming out and dominating this market. But there are other players like Microsoft through its Azure services, Google Cloud, and also the emergence of the Chinese giants, Tencent, Baidu, Aliyun, and even the equipment vendors like Huawei have gone into that business as well. A lot of people have predicted that the cloud business will slow down and therefore the demand for data center will taper off as well. But that's not the case. I think Chinhua and Christina earlier have mentioned that the AI technology, generative AI specifically, have started to create new opportunities for data center players. The amount of server capacity that needs to train your models and subsequently to deploy it out to the consumers, whether they're enterprises or individuals, is going to continue to grow. And we are seeing that going to be a growth market over the next few years. However, as a result of this big demand and shift in the requirement, we are seeing power density going up. Requirement for each server racks are going to go up quite tremendously. Currently, in the average in the industry, we are looking about 12 kilowatt per rack power capacity, power demand. But for AI, especially on the learning side, we can potentially see go up to 60 kilowatt per rack. So, as a result of this, we are going to see issues on sustainability. Data center will continue to consume huge amount of electricity and indirectly contributing to the carbon emission. So, as a supplier to this particular business segment, we need to help our customers to find solutions how to achieve their goal of being net zero by 2030 or 2040, depending on who you're talking to. So with as a data center operator, we don't have that capabilities. But as Keppel, as a group, together with Keppel Infrastructure, together with Keppel Real Estate Division and the Infrastructure Division, we can together bring solutions to these customers. And that's how, in the next few slides, I'll elaborate a little bit on the business opportunities going forward. The other thing about the market trends is that Asia growth in demand for data center in cloud services in the AI, the big growth is coming from everywhere, specifically for Asia Pacific. Europe also continue to see growth, and we will see this being the two geographical market that Keppel will focus on. And finally, with all these servers created all around the world in huge data centers, the requirement for connectivity will grow tremendously as well. In this chart, there are many numbers. A lot of them, the references are at the bottom, and you can dig into it a bit deeper if you are interested. But we are seeing 20 big systems in Asia Pacific, Asia, Europe alone. These two markets. These 20 systems, we are not targeting to try to capture many of them. A 10%, 15% market share will be already create significant projects for the many years to come. I'll again elaborate a little bit later on. Okay, so how do we go forward in capturing opportunities in this growth segment? Number one, for our engine one, which is our data center business, we will double down in the markets that we are already in Singapore, in China, in Indonesia. And how do we go about doing it in some of these new markets? We don't try to go in on our own. We partner with local strategic partners. So, for example, in China, in Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou, Shenzhen area, Beisang, Guang, the three big tier 1 cities, we partner with 3 different partners. In Indonesia, we partner again with a local strong strategic partner, Salim Group. And going forward, in markets where we believe that you need a local partner to operate, we'll definitely work together with a strong local partner to help us in this business. And beyond this market that we are already in, we are looking at other tier 2 markets which are slowly emerging to become tier 1 markets. For example, Jakarta used to be a tier 2 market. It is now a tier 1 market with a growth in the cloud demands. JB used to be a tier 2 market, a peripheral market next to Singapore. It is now emerging to have the potential to become a tier 1 market as well. Vietnam, we are beginning to look into the Vietnam market. That's again a tier 2 market, but now with the growth in the economy, will be a tier 1 market. Of course, we are not going to miss out on the next big geographical market. Together with our colleagues in real estate, in infrastructure, we are talking to local partners to look into the India market. There are 4 major cities, and we are now evaluating quite a number of sites that we can capture in the next few projects. From the capabilities point of view, we are changing the way we deploy our data center by having very strong basis of design. In the past, data centers, every single one has to be customized to your customer's requirement. We have developed systems and basis of design that we can deploy on the modular basis, so that if you come in and talk to Keppel, we can provide different solutions, but using the same basis of design, so that you can design one time and then you can fit many different types of requirement. Hoping that this approach currently deployed in our Singapore Genting Lane project can be replicated to other future projects. And finally, the most important thing for data center going forward, as I mentioned earlier, is to cater to the sustainability requirements of our customers. We are, as what Louis has mentioned earlier, we have spent quite a few years working with the various authorities in Singapore, trying to get approval to deploy a floating data center solutions that can bring down the energy requirements, improve the efficiency of the data center, and also reduce the water requirement in this floating solutions. And it is coming close to a final investment decision. We'll report on that in the near future. What you are seeing in the second column, which is how we're going to go forward in our engine 2 for our data center business, will include also a project called Data Park Plus, a mega-scale campus approach to deploy data center in the future. I'll elaborate on that in the next few slides. And in the second column, you also see how we are going to make our data center a bit smarter using AI machine learning to make the equipment failure predictable, so that we are able to reduce the maintenance costs and maintain our service level agreement with our customers, which is 99.9995% uptime, a very, very difficult target. Again, I'll elaborate a little bit on the data center Data Park Plus project later on. And finally, on the engine 3 that we have started to deploy, network projects, we have launched Bifrost, and we are looking to deploy more systems. I'll explain a little bit more later on. I have covered this earlier. I think I won't spend too much time on it. Forgot that I have these slides on. And the model that we have deployed, just to go back to what Christina has brought up earlier, we use both private funds and listed funds to work together with us to deploy projects. And the first fund, Alpha DC Fund, is fully committed now, and we are now deploying Fund 2, and FUM of 2 billion for these two funds alone. And once we deploy and commit majority of the Fund 2, we will start to raise Fund 3. And there are a strong pipeline of projects that we're working on, and some of them are still on our balance sheet as well. That will convert into, it's a small portion of our potential FUM conversion, but there are two projects there that we can potentially convert into FUM. Okay, so for DP Plus, I think this project is actually a truly one Keppel collaboration using capabilities from infrastructure division, from real estate division, how to deploy. I'm seeing that I'm over and time. I'm talking a little bit faster now. How do we use the capabilities from our other divisions to deploy large-scale campuses? The number one reason why we deploy it on a large-scale basis is that using this big requirement coming from our DP Plus, we can help to accelerate hydrogen adoption or other form of new energy adoption. So we work hand in hand with our infrastructure division to bring in renewable energy from the region, and also bring in new form of green molecules. So not just green electrons, as what Cindy had pointed out earlier. The green ammonia is one vector. There are other potential vectors that we're working on with other partners around the world. And using this aggregated approach, we will be using innovative water cooling technologies to make sure that we continue to improve the efficiency of data center. And finally, this is all based on basis of design that we are deploying. Projects can be deployed over many years in the future, and that will help Singapore as an economy to continue to grow its digital economy without having this carbon constraint. And we have been working, as Louis said, many different government agencies to get approvals of this project, and this will be the engine of growth for our future. And finally, I mentioned earlier, potentially there will be many petabytes of connectivity requirement between Asia and Europe, and Asia and North America. So the Trans-Pacific and the Singapore-European connectivity, you'll see plenty of opportunities. And Singapore will continue to play a very important role as a digital hub for Southeast Asia, maintaining our position as an airport transshipment hub, shipping hub. This fiber connectivity will make Singapore into a strong digital hub for the future. And just to show you the example of the Bifrost system I mentioned earlier, our share of this total development cost, together with our co-investors, managed by our FM fund management and investment platform, we are deploying about $350 million into these systems. And more importantly, this system will also bring a recurring income to Keppel Group. You see at the bottom right there, a $400 million operations and maintenance over the next 25 years is coming from just 2 of the fiber pairs that we have already sold. Yeah, and there are a few more fiber pair systems coming forward. And if we deploy a few more cables, this will typically have the same effect as well. Operations and maintenance that contribute to Keppel Group's recurring income will be there, and we will show in the future systems that it can typically 1-for-1 basis lah. You deploy about $1 in the investment, and we will generate maybe $1 from the operations and maintenance easily. Okay, so I notice I've ran out of time. I just want to conclude by any respectable engineer cannot walk away without showing a Venn diagram. So this is Keppel DC and networks value proposition. Yeah. We use Keppel's capability to see how to bring in connectivity, bring green solutions, and using our knowledge in AI ML, deploy smart data centers solutions to our customers. And using these three capabilities from whole of Keppel Group, we can provide a sustainable data center solutions to our customers. With that, thank you very much.